If you guys see up here on the screen, this is not the lead topic. This ain't what the title is. This ain't what's in the thumbnail. We are going to get what's in the thumbnail and the title. But I just came across this 5 minutes ago. You can't make this shit up. So I said, let's start the stream by covering this. This was tweeted how long ago? It is now 4:45. This was tweeted at 4:35, 10 minutes ago. Easy to block captain tweets. I haven't said anything because it's not my business, but John sent a cease and desist to stop the Cassidy battle. I guess he ain't heard about the Hitman battle. He should worry about court Monday, good brother. Okay, so if you guys have been paying attention to the streams, pretty much the only battle rap topic I've been covering is Jay Mills versus DNA, right? This whole John and Will and Chris Petty and Hip Hop is Real and Battle Facts, I've seen it all. I'm very up to speed with it. I've seen every interview, every detail. I had a couple conversations about it behind the scenes, but stream wise, I fell back. I left it alone. I was actually telling people like last week, I was just like, I'm gonna leave that topic alone. Why? Cassidy, my nigga, for real. Like in real life, Cass is my fucking guy. Okay. Me and John is cool. Me and John always had a good rapport. And even Will, like me and Will always show wild love. I got respect for Will too. Like me and him always show wild love to each other. Like me and Will would politic about how fucked up battle rap is and and support each other and shit like that. So shout out to Will. And Fax is my guy too. You know what I'm saying? So I might have a conversation or two behind the scenes, but I was just like, I'm gonna leave this shit alone until 5 minutes ago when I saw this tweet. And when I saw this tweet, I made one quick phone call just to get context and try to make sure that there's no trolling happening here. What the fuck is going on? So before I get to this tweet, what's up, Jay? We're here, love. Before I get to this tweet, I might as well now, if I'm gonna do it, I might as well speak a little bit about the backstory, but I'm not gonna go all the way back through what did this all happen? A year ago, 2 years ago? I'm not even gonna go all the way back through that. I'm gonna come to the recent biggest plot twist to it. Because if I really sat down here and gave my opinions on who's wrong, where, and business, and this and that battle rap, and this league on, and that investor in the event, and this, I already haven't been covering it. So I don't even want to do all that. I just want to come current to the piece of the battles allegedly possibly about to come out. You know, because Battle Facts, he interviewed the investor or the alleged or whatever, right? I don't even. I saw John's opening Hip Hop is Real shit. So it's a bugged out scenario, big. And then I got to this point of seeing Fax and Danny Myers on, and Fax, I think he showed like a screenshot, like I got the battles and I have the rights to them now, and I might drop them. And then I saw Fax also do a stream stating that he got a cease and desist text message. And then today, what I saw was Piper Boy's stream, because Piper Boy's title says, I spoke to John. So I said, man, they in the weeds about this lawsuit, because they're talking legal shit now between John, Will, and Battle Facts, pretty much is what it sounds like, right? So I was like, all right, let me watch Piper Boy shit too. He's talking about conversations he's had with John. They're all talking about, as per Piper Boy, the whole thing about the chat GPT and it's valid like that and all this type of stuff. So I'm just listening, I'm catching up, and I'm just like, this shit sounds like a fucking mess. All right. So prior to this tweet, I'm building up to it, people. I'm catching up 5 minutes ago. Prior to this tweet, before we go to that, you know what my sentiment would have been as of today, top day current? It would have been, at this point, John did his 50 plus minute Hip Hop is Real where he explained his side, whether you rock with it or not. Slick Will, he did his interview. He did a Hip Hop is Real joint. He did a joint with Battle Facts, right? He has his narrative. Chris Petty weighed in. Battle Facts got a bunch of streams. At this point, when you guys start talking legal, I'm pretty sure there could be some conversations to maybe get to some middle grounds, or I don't know. As far as the footage coming out, I don't know where Fact stands on that. I don't know where Bullpen stands on that, and I don't know where the investor stands on that. I don't have the contracts in front of me. There's just so much gray area and shit that's been said. Some shit that's been weird. Some shit that's looked like it ain't true. Some shit that looked like it. I just felt like, as of at least yesterday, the shit started to feel like it got too personalized, right? And sometimes that's okay because it becomes personal based on how you treat me. If you take me for a fool, if you lie to me, if you threaten me, I might personalize some shit. I might. I probably will, matter of fact. But I'm kind of at that point like, yo, how about this cease and desist stuff and all that? Like, do y'all really want to go through that? Because if I was like giving advice, let me act like this. Let me act like as if I was giving advice to John and advice to Battle Facts right now. And that's removing all the other backstory, right? And just talking about like the last 2 days. My advice, if I gave to Battle Facts, I'd just be like, if somebody sent me a chat GBT, I shouldn't even use chat GBT, a text message cease and desist. Now I wouldn't take it serious, right? But at the same token, people, and I'm not saying John, and Will, I'm just making a point here, so stay with me. People still go to court over fake shit or frivolous shit or shit that's not substantial or substantiated. It happens all the time. You got check collectors. How many fucking suits and lawsuits and cases have we covered up here where I keep telling y'all, at the end of the year, we're going to do a top 5 most frivolous lawsuits of the year, right? Like the Shannon Sharp shit and everything with that girl that went to the Usher concert. You see what I'm saying? Like, and what happens is you spend the money and you spend the time and you do all this and it's still there. You still deal with it. It's still bullshit. It is what it is. Like a cop could pull you over and write you a ticket for anything. It doesn't mean that you're going to have to pay it. That's up to the DMV judge if you go and contest it, right? Same concept. So that would be what I would say to Facts. Like, you know, from a journalistic standpoint, if he wanted to be involved in this topic or if he wanted to cover this topic, he's already done a great job by speaking with people that the culture or his fans or the battle rap community would want to hear that's following the storyline, right? People like Slick Will, who is a said owner of Bullpen, right? Or at least at the time. People like Chris Petty, who worked within Bullpen for a said time, right? And the alleged investor or the middleman of the whatever, right? So from a journalistic standpoint, you got everything, you got the most coverage of this topic. But, you know, when you start talking about the battle and everything, that would be how he feels personally towards the situation, you know, and that's based on how Facts feels with his position amongst everything in the middle. That's it. That's the only reminder I would put out there for Facts. Like, yo, just remember, you know, like that's you know, like that's another step. Like I'm putting his battles out. It's another step. I'm not saying right, wrong, because there's a lot of intangibles there. All right. So shout out the Facts. If I was giving advice to John, shit, like it's hard for me not to get into the backstory because I would have targeted cleaning up all this other stuff to the best of my ability. Danny included, you know, like I would have been focusing on cleaning all of that stuff up. You know, it's not even just about rights and wrongs. And I hear the sentiment a lot of like they know what's going on, whatever, when we hear names like, let's say, a Tay-Rock or an Avocado. I don't know what that means. I know it's not my business to be owed that full detailed explanation. I'm just saying it gets said so much that we are left to draw our own conclusions. But if it were me, and if I was given that genuine, no bullshit, no shots type of advice, it would just be like, yo, just continue to clean up your reputation or your credibility with the people that you work with, regardless of where something may or may not have fell short. Whether it's a investor that's being blamed, a person in the middle, a EIN number, Cassidy, of that battle and that situation going haywire for whatever reasons, the event or the other battlers involved, for whatever reasons, we heard the term bosses take losses. Let me tell you the thing about a league owner. A league owner is in the position to make the most money. I'm not saying we often do. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of events where you mother got paid and I didn't make shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but that comes with the territory. Bosses take losses, and you know that going in. My very first event, New Year Order. It's in documentaries. It's on tweets. It's in interviews from 9-10 years ago. I said me and Shata calculated going into the event and saying we probably gonna have to walk in there with about 5-6 grand that we don't think is gonna be covered. That's an L, but it's all good. And then we got there. You got people like Averb tapping me. I told the story before, tapping me on the shoulder, looking around, seeing 50 people in the building, snow weekend and all this type of shit. Like, yo, man, am I rapping? And my sentiment is like, of course you're rapping, because that's our agreement. That's what you know from me and what I know from you. Regardless of, even if it was Shata's money, I'm just making up a hypothetical. Averb worked with me. He signed a contract with me. He had communications with me. That's who his expectations are with, right? And my expectations is that he's rapping, and I had no reason to tell him anything different, because our agreement is our agreement. So when he taps me on the shoulder, it's just him figuring out if I don't think that the money is here. So don't send me up there to rap if I'm not going to get paid. And I tell the same story I've been telling for 10 years. I looked at him like he was crazy, because that's not my style of business. He wasn't wrong for asking, but I just don't understand that we have an agreement and you don't get paid after you fulfill your side. So he gets up there and I pay him out of my pocket, you know? And that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to have the whole event in your pocket, but you continuing to pay into whatever it's a bosses take losses. And when I say we're in the position to make the most money, one thing that comes with being in the ownership seat is we own the content going forward. If I decide to sell the entire 10 plus year RBE library for $500,000, who makes that money? The battle rappers? No, they don't get a dime from it, right? They get paid their agreed upon at moment service as a contractor, right? I get paid to this day still off of battles that I produced and we shot in Club Drum 9-10 years ago. I make money off of those battles while I sleep. Why do you think Rem is so fucking big on her footage? Like, that's just an inside joke about some negotiation tactics I heard before. But it's all just. So bosses do take losses, but the best of the best league owners will pull some money out this bitch. Sooner or later, if you continue to work and build the right way. So my advice would be, if I was offering advice to the bullpen side of things, it would be like, the moment that you keep all your T's crossed and your I's dotted and all your shit in the right, anybody that fucks with you, right, or even if they're in the wrong, they don't have nothing against you. And if somebody wants to start a frivolous lawsuit against you, they won't have a leg to stand on. It's going to end up getting dismissed. Somebody's going to try to settle out, or a judge is going to rule in your favor, or you're going to have access to probably a ton of fucking countersuits when you are 100% in the right, right? But I keep hearing Avocado's name, for example. Is Avocado talking to somebody? See, Avocado's not loud. He's not going to get on Twitter. He's not going to do what Danny Myers did and do an interview about it. But is he making people aware? Is he being asked and he's answering the question and people are speaking up and publicly around him? I'm not going to say for him because he's his own man, but I'm saying around, like, there's all these pieces where it's just like, yo, if you continue to take that stuff off the table, Battle Facts or Piper Boy or nobody will have nothing to say, because you clean up your backyard. Whether I didn't been in situations where I felt like you wronged me and I still got to come out of my pocket for the circumstances at hand because it falls on me still. It's just, I don't want to get into that. I could be here all day, and now I'm getting into backstory shit that I want to avoid. Let's come current to this tweet. So my understanding, and I still say allegedly, of this tweet is that a cease and desist was sent to TBL to stop Cassidy versus Easy to Block Captain. if I'm RBE and I book Cassidy and Cassidy doesn't perform for whatever reasons, right or wrong, and if I have my own reasons where I have a problem with Cassidy, I would have had him on the books legally a long time ago. You know, I don't even know about statute of limitations type shit. I forget how when this battle was booked, but that's one thing I don't. You know what? I don't want to say this in a way where it's abrasive towards John and Will, because I fuck with those two guys. But I do want to stand firm and honest towards my feelings towards this shit, because I've been there. And I do think it's some 1000. The nicest words I can say about it is bullshit. Like, if you feel a battler violated your contract, then go deal with the battler. The moment I feel like you come to me later on as the platform, I feel like all you're doing is targeting where you think the money is at, which is bullshit to me. I get it, because people feel like if I really want to try to go get $250,000, I'm not going to get it out of 99% of these battle rappers. Can't get blood from a stone. The people that consistently don't show up to these events, they're not going to get sued. They don't have shit. Some of them don't even have a home address to get served at. Real shit. So it leaves league owners there. But I'm just saying, like, if I felt that way, because I didn't seen shit where it was more like at a physical level, like borderline threats. And I'm not trying to hype up nothing. I'm just saying I've seen that. And I'm one of the last people to want to see that shit actually happen. Like, let's say John and Cass like cross pass and they both know I was at the center trying to squash their beef and get them on the phone. And I came this fucking close to getting them both on the phone together. I spoke to both of them. They both got on the same page. And then outside of me, it broke down on their sides and the calls never happened. I'm not going to get into all the details, but y'all know I didn't want to see them niggas beef. I even tried to book the battle as a one-off for a full circle. How about that? It was declined. So in multiple different ways, I tried to. I'm not for the violence between these guys at all. I'm not for it. But at the same time, I'm just trying to say I seen things that was like, as a matter of fact, fuck it. Let's keep it 1,000. John, I tweeted some random shit that was like, I would like to see this person in a full circle. And Rum Nitty, it's time for you to debut. And Geechee, me and you owe each other some work. And yo, Cassidy, I want to see a cat. I was like on that type time on Twitter. And I tweeted Cassidy's name for like a full circle. And John replied to the tweet like, I'll be there. We know what the fuck that. Come on, John. We know what the fuck that means. So I'm just saying, like, what type of time has it been this whole time? Has it been like, I got an issue with him, we could go our separate ways, or when we see each other, we got to step to the side and have a certain type of conversation that can go left, or I'm going to sue you, you know, because like the waiting for this battle to now pop up and then TBL catches a cease and desist, especially when there's all of this gray area that's going, that's what's, and I don't have all the answers to that, but it's just, I'm gonna keep it 1,000. But it's like there's so much in the air around this event that's being discussed right now. It just doesn't even seem like the best tactic, because if I sue somebody, or if I cease and desist somebody, I want everything attached to that to have my ducks in a row. And seeing people like Piper Boy, for example, to have the ability to come out and speak on his conversation with John from like today or yesterday, this is just more records and more shit that's being added to the public equation. And this is the type of stuff that absolutely goes into those court proceedings. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna keep it 1,000 once again. From the outside looking in, and from some of the behind the scenes conversations I had, it does not look like the investor is on John's side. Actually, when you read this tweet, I'm gonna tell you the context that somebody just told me behind the scenes. You see the end of this tweet where Easy says he should worry about court Monday, good brother. I was told behind the scenes, allegedly, what that means is because the investor and John have a court date Monday, like Easy's tweet. Monday about their dealings associated with the event, the Endgame event. So this shit is just getting weirder and weirder, and it's just like, damn, like I really was ignoring it publicly, but you guys just really making it hard for me to keep looking at this and not be somebody that wants to have a opinion on my podcast about it. And I'm being respectful as shit. I'm really being reserved right now because I fuck with all parties that I actually know involved. I fuck with Facts. I fuck with Will. I fuck with John. I fuck with Cass. I'm being as respectful as possible, but this shit look messy as fuck. And it almost feels like all of them could have conversations that would avoid the courts. I don't know if John and the investors are in touch, but from what I heard behind the scenes, it's almost like they just don't want John saying certain things that they feel aren't true publicly, as if like they start to take some of the blame of all of this because then they become liable. So then they turn around and say, we want to go to court behind this now. So it really isn't about even a TBL cease and desist. And that's what I was talking about earlier. To me, it just doesn't feel like anybody really was tracking down alleged lost bread. It feels like everybody's reacting to their public reputation. But if everybody's out here now reacting because of their public reputation, it all spawns from possibly a bunch of people saying shit online that just isn't aligned for whatever reason. And I'm not calling niggas liars. I'm just saying everybody got a different story. So maybe a call or two behind the scenes stops the TBL cease and desist, stops any attacks on Easy and Cassidy, stops any odds between John and an investor, stops any differences between Battle Facts and John and Will, and because I don't see it unless everybody is just like, oh no, I need to come for some bread that I really feel that I'm out behind all of this. Then do what you do. Who am I? I'll sue one of you motherfuckers. So who am I to fucking judge? It just seems that all this legal stuff is starting because interviews came about. And if it's about public reputation, then a comment here, a statement there, a blog there, and it's done. There's no way I feel like y'all niggas is tracking down bread, because if that was the case, niggas would have been. I don't know. Jay, yes or no? It depends. It depends why the cease and desist comes. All right. I received some whole like cease and desist in my life all the way back to being a teenager. I'm keeping it. That's my opinion. Stand on it. You know what I mean? I could explain some of those situations to you and see whether some people agree or not. You know what I mean? I do feel like cease and desist are absolutely warranted, because I also want to be the same guy that wants to say, let's not take shit to the streets, people. Like, we're doing business, right? You motherfuckers is literally, no matter how shitty battle rap business is, motherfuckers still are signing contracts. That means you guys are at least attempting to perform business, legitimate business. So let's keep it that. Let's try to keep it that. That's one of 50 reasons why I retired. Sooner or later, something's going to happen. I felt it. I was like, whether I do something to somebody, my people do something to somebody, or somebody does something to me, or somebody does something to my peoples, I could see it, because I know what's in my chest, how I feel about certain shit and certain people, or if this person runs off, or this person plays with me, or if I see this person, I won't be able to stay at the floor. Like, I feel it. I got people around me telling me like, yo, if that, it's too much. It's too much. That situation at that mixtape party, my man almost beelined over. I grabbed him and was like, nah, it's not for you. I gotta be first. Like, nigga, there's league owners. I'm not even talking. People might think that when I say league owners, oh, he's talking about URL. I'm not, and this is it, but not even talking about URL. There's literal league owners that have been in danger behind shit that I could be in jail behind so many different shit tied to battle rap. It's just the navigation and me staying away from certain shit and keep myself away from certain people at certain times, and God's blessings here and there, is why I never got into anything super crazy. and nothing super crazy happened to me and mines, luckily. But there's been Serious Jones tells you in blogs and lives. I never said it to y'all publicly, but I'm in parking lots and guns is getting drawn on niggas and all types of shit. And we out here for battle rap. I could be in jail right now behind battle rap. Right fucking now behind battle rap from many situations. It's like god damn son, like it's such a shitty fucking environment. It's shitty as fuck, and I hate to be on the outside looking at it like, damn, I fuck with some of y'all. Like, I really don't want y'all to get into that shit or wake up with some bullshit ass news headline, but motherfuckers stay in the mix of that shit. Me, I said I'm gonna stand over here. Y'all got it. 10 years anniversary. I'm good. I'm cool. I'm cool. But anyway, staying on point here. Um, I'll do some more due diligence behind the scenes from a coverage standpoint. If we're going to continue to talk about the promotion of Easy versus Cassidy, I'm interested to see where that goes if allegedly they received a cease and desist. You see Easy's words here. He's standing on shit. He's saying, "Did you not see what happened with Hitman?" Well, that's the thing. There's league owners around that get what they feel are bullshit cease and desist, and they say, "Listen, do what you do," and that's not a shot. That's reality. ARP is one. REM is one. Um, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. And respectfully, if there's business details that warrant a cease and desist from the bullpen side, I respect it. I'm just saying, I don't know all the business dealings between that investor and I've heard a lot of gray shit and a lot of weird shit. Just being 1,000. I respect niggas. I fuck with niggas, but shit just seem, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I was like, I'm cool. I'm gonna step on those toes of people I rock with. But now this is gonna continue to get legs. And niggas in court Monday allegedly. It's like, all right. I'm putting it down. I'm gonna stop there. Y'all good? What's today? Today's Wednesday or Thursday. Today's Thursday. Happy Thursday. let me take a break for a second. Back to my supers real quick. You know I normally say supers for the end, but hi Jay, how are you? Shout out to the members and the mods. Who else is here? Unpopular opinion. Our member in our mod is here. Says John doesn't even have 200 to pay Danny Myers. He ain't suing any damn body. I'm not counting nobody's pockets. Respectfully. But legal battles are not cheap unless you're gonna go get you a pro bono lawyer. There are some good pro bono lawyers out there. You know what I'm saying? Let me shut up. Lux the GOAT is in the building, says, and when you get done losing that cash, there's still two more. Y'all niggas is trolling. Y'all niggas is crazy. Shout out to Jay, says the season. Oh, there, we read that one. Okay. I addressed that one. Don Bean's in the building. I said, peace to ARP and the gang. I made another PM shift. Salute, G. This your default picture I've been seeing for what, like a month or whatever when you changed it. But correct me if I'm wrong. It almost looks like Disney World in the background, and I might have to start bringing that into the news cycle. I just keep and I don't want to say it because of your default, respectfully. I'm just saying I keep seeing that niggas keep putting it in checks and balances chat, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on over there? And I don't even want to say it right now because I don't want any correlation to your default, respectfully, my nigga. But all right, brief intermission. And then we're gonna get to the title and the thumb. Shout out to everybody that is still catching up to us moving the 6 a.m. morning stream from Monday through Fridays to the afternoons. I get a couple of tweets. I see the comments. I got some of our mods and members that DM me and hit me up, like Jay, for example, telling me today, yo, keep getting a bunch of complaints, a bunch of people at whatever. And I want to continue to say it in as many streams as possible. I want to understand, keep myself in the understanding that not everybody watches every stream. So I have to keep telling people. And I'm here for that. It's all good. It's not y'all fault. That's on me. And No, this well, yes, the 6 a.m. Monday through Friday streams are no longer on unless there's a big change to revert back. Right now, it is afternoons. If I tell you guys a locked in time and I don't hit it the way that we did every morning, 6 a.m. Monday through Friday, then I'm the bad guy. So right now, I'd like to put out there the range is going to be from like 4 to like 6:30 ish, maybe just like 4 to 7. All right, we're gonna kick off a live in there. I know that's a big gap for certain people. Some of y'all was like, yo, I'm supposed to be watching, catching my sorry is true type of news and those type of takes over there when I'm on this type of shift or in the mornings when I'm getting my coffee. And I want to hone it down more for y'all as possible. And I will continue to do so to the best of my ability. But right now, we're pretty much in the time frame of like 4 to 7 Monday through Friday. Okay. The best we could do and the best y'all could do for me and for us to keep that amazing chat that we built up in the morning going and continuing to build is turn your notifications on and follow me on social media. Every time the stream goes up, I always try to put it up, start the stream up so the notifications go out at least 15 to 30 minutes prior to us going live. So that means on YouTube, notifications go out. Sometimes YouTube is finicky. They're not going to send them out to 470,000 subscribers that we have. That's how YouTube is. That's not the case with any channel. Okay. Some of y'all may not even get notifications at times. Okay, you got a backdrop of Twitter. I always hit up the Rare Breed Twitter and my Twitter. You also got a backdrop of Instagram. I always put up a story on my Instagram and the Rare Breed Instagram story, and the same thing with Facebook. Mine as well as the Facebook or the RBE business account. All three platforms on social media. Get the flyer or the thumbnail and the link, and the YouTube also will show live in X amount of time. So that is I'm trying to do as much as possible to let people know when we live in the afternoons, knowing that y'all don't have that luxury just saying whether I get a notification or follow this nigga on social media or not. 6 a.m. I already know to cut the shit on and we live. You know what I'm saying? So um I apologize for the change, but it was required. All right. And weekends is still weekends. See, the thing about weekends is I have way more flexibility than I do during the week. So getting some morning streams off is still very, very there to do and possible. But afternoons is that deal as well. So, but I can guarantee you, there are no more 6 a.m. in the morning streams Monday through Friday. Okay. There's no more 6 a.m. streams even on the weekend. All right. Um, so I'm doing my best, people. Okay. I'm going to keep trying to push out the reminders for people. We need everybody from the 6 a.m. crew, if they're available, to make their way back to the afternoon crew. Okay. So shout out to the afternoon crew. All right. Before I get started on the rest of our news and get into the title, one more. I'll take this one before we get to the end. Don Bean with the big super says, I didn't miss a 6 a.m. live. LOL. Hard to catch him when the whole gang is home and active. LOL. Y'all know how many kids yes, we do. But I'm gonna always support. Thank you, Don Bean. I appreciate you. I get it, man. I get it. Everybody still at work, kids home and all that from school. I get it, man. I get it. But we're gonna be here and we're gonna build up the afternoon movement now, okay? All right, let's get into the title. Where's my headphones at? Let's get into the title and the thumbnail. I got derailed by seeing Easy's tweet 5 minutes before the live cut on. But now let's get back to the title. Julio Foolio Trial judge hit with motion to disqualify. And thumbnail says something like, was the judge bad? So it's funny because we already caught a vibe from the judge when we was, covering the trial as each day progressed for Alicia Andrews, the fifth suspect in the whole Julio Foolio shooting. And we caught a vibe from the judge and we said it on one of the streams, but now to see that her defense and her counsel and her team of lawyers actually submitted a motion to disqualify the judge. Yeah, most of us that felt that vibe, like obviously, I get it. An appeal is an appeal. We expect an appeal. Even Queso's appealing, right? At least says he is. I say that respectfully, even though everybody like, nigga, you guilty. But it didn't feel right the way this judge was acting. It seemed very, very biased towards the state. All right, so let's rehash, and then we're going to get into the updates. just to revisit some of the vibe from the judge. We're gonna go here first.
Miss Herrera, stop. Miss Herrera, stop. I didn't ask you to talk.
I didn't know how to ask.
Yeah, you do. You do. Stop, Miss Herrera. You need to stop right now because you know what? You've been making faces throughout this entire trial. This entire trial. Yeah, you have been.
Okay.
And everything's been caught on video.
I know, and I also
And-
hope that the court has caught and noticed all of the gestures and the tone, which was addressed yesterday in the state. But it's fine, no problem, I will do my best to.
Please do your best. Yeah, and your attitude is very disrespectful. I'll note for the record.
Okay.
Okay, very good. You wouldn't mind moving. Let's bring him back in.
Look at her face before we move on. Look at her face. This is the one that I really called out on that prior stream. I was just like, don't get me wrong. I thought she was cooked. I thought she was definitely getting convicted. But I was just like, wait a minute. Is the judge supposed to say that? Let's revisit once again.
But they can speak to the incidents that they have been a witness to, and they can speak to the abuse that she suffered. They just cannot make the connection to say that because she was a part
But
of
if they can't make the connection, then why should they be able to testify to it? If they can't make the connection, why is it relevant? So then are you going to stand in front of the jury and make the argument, well, extrapolate jurors, even though we don't have any evidence in this case that she was scared, you need to extrapolate what these witnesses said, and then therefore you should assume she was scared, which is why she did all of this. Is that what you're planning on doing?
Right there. I'm very, very big on words, which is why she did all of this. Like, a judge's job is to be the neutral party, the moderator, also hand down sentencing. But that's after the jury goes back, deliberates, does their job, and comes back with a guilty, not guilty verdict. She pretty much, and though, think about it. Just imagine if it was you. If you was the defendant there, if you was Alicia, and if you heard the judge say those words, in your mind, you would say, she just convicted me. No, I'm not reaching. Let's play it one more time. She literally convicted her, whether you know it or not. Look at this shit.
Case that she was scared, you need to extrapolate what these witnesses said, and then therefore you should assume she was scared, which is why she did all of this. Is that what you're planning on doing?
No. And what you're describing.
Even with a hint of sarcasm. So your thing is that she was scared, which is why she did all of this. All of what? I'm innocent. I'm trying to tell y'all the only reason I was in the parking lot of that hotel is because we was looking for something to eat. What you mean did all of this? What the fuck do you mean, judge? That's crazy. That's crazy. And mind you, for the record, people, I think she's guilty. I really think Alicia is guilty as shit. Come on, don't take me for a fucking fool. The evidence that we saw at the trial, but the judge is tripping. And at the end of the day, guilty or not, I want my fair trial. If I want to bring certain evidence in, if I want to argue that I'm there because I was being abused by my boyfriend domestically, and you got this bias towards me as to why I already did all of this stuff, then I'm gonna fight oppositions and objections and motions that you have a bias towards. You're not letting me get off fully. Like I don't like that. I don't fuck with Alicia, but I don't fuck with the judge neither. Two things could both be wrong. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get into the actual motion. I didn't grab the motion itself. Instead, I grabbed the video reading over it. And here it is from this young lady. Actually, let me give her like fellow content creator and paperwork reader and breaker downer, if that's a word, breaker downer. A or Av to the 7th power. Shout out to this young lady. Let me give her a like. All right. Verified motion to disqualify presiding judge.
Feel that she could have received a fair trial. Ms. Andrews stands accused of first-degree murder and conspiracy in connection with the alleged ambush killing of Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio Jones. That's the other thing. Who wrote this? Use his real name.
They did. That's part of the appeal. Remember, one of the issues that they took with Diddy's judge was that at sentencing, as he was given his spiel, he was referencing alleged crimes that Diddy was acquitted on. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm catching the man acts and in your whole spiel, you're talking about I don't know, abuse, for example, like domestic abuse or whatever. And I'm not being, you know what I'm saying? There was counts that he was being charged for that the judge referenced. And then his whole thing is well about it being a message being sent. It almost seemed like the sentencing guidelines that they thought that they were walking into, hence even booking shows in Miami for next week. That was a fail, but but they thought the guidelines that were at play were not going to fall the way the judge actually sentenced him by anywhere close. They thought they was walking out of there that day. And then to hear the judge reference things that he was acquitted on and then talk about like any type of bias as if like this is for the people, you know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, if you're guilty, if you're found guilty, I should be able to say this is now a message to any predator out there that ever wants to put their hands on a kid. I don't have a problem with that. But it's in the mix of you referencing things that I was found not guilty on as per the jury. So that is one of the reasons for the appeal. But this one bugged out as well.
Rapper Julio Foolio Jones. It should say Charles Jones. Maybe you put in parentheses Julio Foolio. So I'm already seeing that this was either made in a rush or like it's not written well. Throughout the proceedings, Judge Sisko has exhibited overt hostility towards the defense, repeatedly interrupting counsel, refusing sidebars, and visibly prompting the...
Shout out to Kane in the building, man. Thank you, G. I appreciate you coming through with the big soup and supporting our migration to the afternoon movement. I appreciate you, G, and hope that you could be here as much as possible. Really appreciate you, homie. Thank you.
Prosecution during witness examinations. Moreover, her public assurances to the jury that it would receive the case for deliberation by a specific date demonstrate a predetermined timetable inconsistent with judicial neutrality. These actions, viewed cumulatively, give rise to an objective, reasonable fear that Judge Sisko has abandoned her role as an impartial arbiter.
I feel like the piece that we just watched, that's where she does that. You're supposed to be impartial, 100%.
Requiring disqualification under the rule of general practice and judicial administration 2.330. So this gives me, just reading it legally, this gives me some indication that they might have started writing this the day before Thursday.
You never know. Shout out to you once again, love. Appreciate you. You never know when they started to write it, whether they had that inclination during and they knew they were going to go in that direction or not. To me, that's not the big focal point. To me, the big focal point is when you, as a lawyer, when you take account of these pieces during trial where you felt like the judge was being impartial, you should be taking record of it, right? For example, on Diddy's defense team, he had a lawyer hired alongside of him that was there only to be prepared for the appeal process if he was to be convicted. That's the person that alongside the trial, as day by day goes by, is taking account of all the objections, all the reasons that you feel things were done unequal or impartial, so to speak, right? That's your job, right? And the defense in this situation, I'm pretty sure they didn't forget the fact that, yeah, the judge called me out for the faces that I made or said that I had an attitude, or the judge almost didn't let me use Alicia Andrews' angle of being able to say I'm only in that situation or in that car because of domestic abuse. You know, like the way that the judge even ruled on that. Let's say that it is a big reason why she ended up taking the stand, which ended up working out in her favor anyway. And we'll get to that in a second. But the judge, I don't think that they wanted Alicia up on that stand, because you're still then open to cross-examination and the prosecution gets to get their hands on you. I don't think they wanted her up on the stand. That was the judge's response to her counsel. Like, if you're going to come up here and try to play this whole narrative of she was there because of her boyfriend putting pressure on her and all that type of shit, then she's got to testify. So they're like, well, if we're trying to get this knocked down to a manslaughter opposed to this premeditated shit, then maybe you should testify. And she did. But anyway, like they didn't lose accounts of all of that. So now here you are with the conviction. If I'm Alicia, yeah, go ahead and file a disqualification behind this woman, because there's many times where we felt uneasy of how she was treating us. Like it felt so. If I watch other people's takes on this judge too, we see it. They actually in this motion. Let me see if we can find it real quick. In the motion, they actually put screenshots of oh, we'll take a look at this one as well. Screenshots of people's social media responses to the judge as we were watching it. Like, yo, this judge is tripping, and they put that in their motion. What's this one? Representative comments from the public. Direct accusations of bias. This judge is a mess and literally cannot hide her bias. There you have it. This is what they're doing right here. Username at Esquire 0618. This is just like people's, I guess, social media ads that they're referencing. It's like, look, this is what people are calling out as they're watching the trial in real time. Unequal treatment, unfairness. She allowing the prosecution to do and say whatever they want. The judge mind been made up. Defense should ask for a different judge. Definitely been made up. That's the clip that we just played for y'all. This is not a fair trial. The judge is rude. Judge is nasty towards the defense. This is being called out from the general public. From the general public. And then down here in their motion is screenshots that they're taking. This judge is biased as fuck. This is not a fair trial. Laugh my ass off. This judge is a mess and literally cannot hide her bias. Yada, yada, yada. Emojis. Judge is just making crap up. The judge is awful as fuck. The judge ain't worth $1. Now, mind you, a couple tweets for somebody that disagrees with a judge ain't going to get it done. Ain't going to get Alicia back in front of the courts again. I think it's really how the judge treated certain points of the trial that become substantial. For example, we weren't allowed to introduce evidence here. We weren't allowed to object here. We weren't allowed to speak here. We weren't allowed to interject over there. Like shit like that. And that's why you got to take notes and references during the trial for your defendant. Yeah, this is crazy. Look, they got a whole thing dedicated towards people calling out the judge and all these screenshots and shit. Look at this. This was a live chat and 15,000 people in this particular chat, and everybody's calling out the judge. Come on, judge. This is funny. She doing terrible. Judge is savage. She should have just pled the fifth. Judge bias. You ain't the judge, man. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So we got to stand on that, people. We got to stand on that. I believe Alicia is guilty, but at the same time, I don't want to see fair treatment, because if I'm up there fighting for my freedom, I don't want to be in front of a judge like that. Okay. And last but not least, closing out this topic, her defense issued a public statement, and I think the reason why they put this out there, not just for their client's sake, their client's family's sake, but also for their firm's reputation. All the people saying she's facing life. It would have been life if she was convicted of just first degree premeditated murder. Okay. So as much as we saw clips where we looked at her defense and said, I don't know about you, especially the older lawyer in the opening statement, we were just like, what? Like, good luck. Right. But them taking the chance of putting her up there to testify, she ended up getting her shit knocked down to manslaughter. So I believe the max is 15 years. You never know if that comes along with any type of probationary period. Like, let's say you do 10 in, time served, you get this, you get that, you're out in 10, you're out in 8, you never know, right? In the Fed, you have to serve a certain amount of time. This is state. This isn't a federal case. So you never know. And she's like 22 years old or whatever. It's possible she could be home before she's 35 years old, which means that you still have a lot of your life to live. But yeah, they want to put this press release out to make sure that people understood that she's not facing life. And we got to clap it up. We got to keep it real. We got to clap it up for them, because not only was Alicia pretty sharp up there on the stand, she did her job, but I think they gave her pretty good alley-oops. And obviously it played on the jury to get her knocked down to manslaughter. So it worked. All right. It worked. She's still guilty as fuck though. All right. All right. What do I got next for y'all? We got Drake. Hey, Drake. Don't say the rest, man. I don't want to get sued or nothing. Take that shit to Kendrick. Don't send me no cease and desist. Go fight Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. Same way with that opening topic. Who you really got a problem with? I don't talk this shit to UMG. Go to Kendrick. He's the one that rapped it. Bitch ass. Nah, let me stop. All right. Spotify fires back after lawsuit claims they allow fake bots to benefit Drake and other artists. All right, let's see what Spotify is talking about. As of this morning, I didn't see this on their docket, but I'll say allegedly and read this as a statement. Spotify is defending itself against a class action lawsuit that accuses the platform of turning a blind eye to fraudulent streaming, which has allegedly benefited stupid superstars such as Drake. Rapper RBX filed the case on behalf of himself and others, claiming that the billions of fake streams are generated every month, which harms legitimate artists, songwriters, and producers. The lawsuit references Drizzy alleging his music may have been a boost or seen a boost from fake streams, though he is not a defendant and has not commented publicly. It wasn't just a boost what we read. We read some shit like like it was like billions of views or some shit or clicks. Plaintiffs are seeking a jury trial to decide compensatory and punitive damages, arguing that the rights holders have lost hundreds of millions of dollars due to the alleged fraud. The paperwork definitely showed that type of accusation, that while you're sending all these ads this direction, all these other artists are being impacted, and there you have a class action lawsuit. Hey, who else wants to come and jump this nigga Spotify with me? You know, that's how it goes. We cannot comment on pending litigation. However, Spotify in no way benefits from the industry-wide challenge of artificial streaming. So at least they understand and they're admitting that there's bots out there. It's on every platform, it seems, at this point at a high at the big players level, right? So they're saying they're fighting the artificial shit that's just out there, just like anybody else. My call out in the paperwork was like, it just seemed very odd the way it was written that Drake was not a defendant. Now, I'm not calling for him to be a defendant. I ain't hating on no man to get no fucking additional lawsuit, no shit like that. I'm just saying the way it was written was almost as if like Drake is benefiting. So you want to go at the beneficiary, right? Because he's getting paid out off of all this shit. That's money that's out of you artists' pockets, allegedly. No. So it's just written in a way I was just like, how is he not to prove or to go at some of this the way you guys are submitting it? Just Spotify? The same way I've always looked at the UMG case, like, Drake, are you sure you're not gonna sue Kendrick sooner or later? And who knows? It might have even gotten to that level at some point. Allegedly, of course, you know, hopefully time will never tell, but he is appealing, so we'll see. Spotify also highlighted the effectiveness of its systems. Our systems are working. In a case from last year, one bad actor was indicted for stealing 10 million from streaming services, only 60,000 of which came from Spotify, proving how effective we are limiting the impact of artificial streaming on our platform, the statement added. So you could use that within your defense. I would use it to say, like, look, we're part of catching niggas out here that stole $10 million worth and all that. The key, though, is that person may not have been within your system, allegedly, meaning that if Drake is doing it, allegedly, we're playing together. It's the dealer and the player that both know we hustling this third guy at the poker table. You know what I'm saying? This guy that you guys, you know, caught up for 10 million, of which 60,000 out of your own hand, maybe that was just some random person that was botting to his own streaming page, catching some bread for himself, and you wasn't getting your cut. Allegedly, of course. I'm just saying that to me doesn't prove all out that we're so against botting because look, we even caught somebody. Well, you catch the people you want to catch is the point that I'm going to make. It's still allegedly. The company insists that it is committed to protecting artists and minimizing fraudulent activity while addressing what it calls an industry-wide challenge to read the rest. All right, cool. I'm not even going to reach too much further past that. I gave you my takes in between there. I'll keep an eye on the docket as always, people. We'll be back for more. But let's keep our eyes for if Drake really becomes just the example that they're trying to use in the suit, the big example, or if he becomes a defendant. All right. Speaking of alleged fraud, so the NBA opened up a big ass can of worms, right? This whole thing with Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups. I kept seeing the news headlines going around that Dana White and the UFC were targeted by FBI. And then I see reactions of people coming up saying shit like, hey, look at this fight right here. That's a fake ass tap out. He wasn't really getting choked. This was the betting odds spiked up the night of or the day of. That's bullshit. All these people that bet their money and lose their money and see how these odds just flick out a light switch and all, they all coming back for what they think is theirs. So I had to fall back and just watch that shit. Like, everybody's gonna call foul play on anything that they think like is a shot that they should have made, or a patch they should have caught, or a punch that they should have thrown, right? Shit, if anything, I want my money back for the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, right? Because I didn't see a million videos that look like Mike Tyson pulling his punches and all this shit, allegedly. But anyway, now that I have Dana White speaking, different ball game, people. They're going to be approached now by the FBI. Okay, let's see what he's talking about.
I've met with the FBI twice today. We just had an office full of FBI agents in here. So if you try to do this, we will be your worst enemy. Immediately go after you, guns a-blazing, with the FBI and whoever else we need to get. We will do everything we can to make sure you go to prison. You know, you're seeing things out on the internet where like fighters are coming out and going, oh, I was approached. Really? Why didn't you tell us that? Or more importantly, why didn't you tell law enforcement that you were approached? Now you're saying that you were approached? Hey, I want you to rob a bank. I'm going to rob banks. Want to rob a bank with me? And you don't do it. What, you're not gonna tell law enforcement? It's really weird that fighters are coming out now saying they were approached, and they're going to be approached now by the.
It's not weird. It's typical, Dana. It's my first time watching him go through all the his commentary here, people. It's not weird. It's very, 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 very typical. First thing that I'm noticing here, rightfully so, he's doing the right thing by separating himself. If you come out and you say, listen, I also, as the spearhead and the face and all this of the UFC, I also take issue with anybody that is doing this bullshit in our fights, right? Great position to take. You separate yourself for the FBI because you don't want to end up as a co-conspirator, do you? So, and let's say he's 100% truth and he really had nothing to do with this shit. He's just a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen, businessman, and people's fucking over inside of his ring doing all this side shit that can get him in trouble. Fuck yeah. I want y'all to be caught up in this shit and removed from not just my business, but away from me, right? So I can't be mad at him there. But the whole thing about people coming out later, let's not act like that's not typical. Like, I get it. Society, especially like whether it's the government and law enforcement, they want you to follow that rule of like airports, like see something, say something. But we're all raised to mind our business. Like, it's like we're all raised to mind our business. Like, let me ask y'all in the chat. Like if you was at the airport right now and you saw an unattended suitcase, not by the baggage claim where they might pull them off the fucking trolley or whatever and just group them there. I'm talking about like just in the hallway, like walking between the gates and shit. You just saw a suitcase just right there. Would you do anything? Me? No, I'm not gonna go. Let me find a cop. I see a suitcase there. The only time I really look around and shit, honestly, is like when I see like a little kid running and I don't see parents or guardians around them. That's when I look around. If I see a little 2-3-year-old running down a hall, I might pull one of these real quick. Like, wow, it looks like this kid is accounted for, because it's actually like a humane thing to do. Like, if you got loose from your parents out of their sight, like, let me try to help and save this kid. But a suitcase, man, I'm out of my fucking business. And look at the clip from Michael Porter, right? That used to play on the Denver Nuggets. He got traded. I forget where he's at now. And I'm talking NBA side, people. He did that interview where he was just like, I mean, shit, like, who's not doing it? You got your little cousin on the side. You tell him, hey, put 10,000 because word on the street is Joker's not playing tonight. That's what I heard from the locker room. So, I'm just letting you know, like, who's not going to do that? Like, he put that out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might know many examples where that happens, but Porter's not going to run to the authorities. He's not going to tell on the NBA that's cutting him a check. He's not going to tell on his teammates that he's in the trenches with. He's not going to tell on his family that might be getting bread out of it. He's going to mind his fucking business. And if you're smart, you just make sure you're not involved. That's really the most you could ask for, Dana. You know what I'm saying? Like, go after the fighters that did it. I ain't mad at you. But as far as the niggas that were approached and didn't say anything, this is still the world that you live in, man. Come on, like, don't act oblivious, Dana. Like, come on. Because you ain't ratting out every single thing that you see that's improper neither, nigga. Cut it out.
The FBI. I've met with the FBI twice today. We just had an.
Oh, that's the understatement. Okay, so what's this? This is people allegedly coming out. Vince Morales, all the throwing of the fight stuff is crazy. I've been approached about doing it and not something I could live with, even though I ended up losing. Who's approaching you, motherfuckers? The mafia, allegedly. Who's approaching y'all? These gambling sharks, whales. Who's approaching y'all? Okay, somebody. Yeah, people have approached me too. There's a lot of me too's going on. So, Dana, you can't. What are you gonna do? Fight with all your fighters, or get into it with all your fighters that saying they've been approached? They're just keeping it real at this point. And you want to know what they're probably doing by putting this out there? To a degree, they're doing what you did in the beginning of your statement, which is separating themselves. Hey, man, I've been approached before. I don't agree with this shit, though. So if you go over my career on the UFC and you see that I lost a fight that you think I should have won, that I wasn't the underdog in or some shit, don't investigate me. I've been approached before, but I don't fuck with it. They might be pulling that by saying this shit, or they could be clout chasing. You never know. But this is all expected. The more people that come out is the less ability that you have to act like, no, FBI, you guys can investigate, but ain't nothing going on. No, there's too much going on, actually. That's the problem. But it's sports. And like Michael Genovese explained, you know, you can't get away from this. And you got money, you got sports, you got people involved that you can control, get to, you got mafia elements, you got extortion, you got all of this shit. It's going to be rampant in every arena. It comes with the territory.
Told by multiple people that they have been approached. Are you interested in throwing a fight for X amount of dollars? This is a massive issue for the UFC. Is it happening with referees? Is it happening with judges as well?
Yeah, I don't need to keep going. I'm glad he said judges, because he's talking about judges that's in the ring. It's when I say everywhere, we're focusing on sports right now. Motherfucker, how about judges in court? Remember that viral video that just went run around earlier this week or last week of the lawyer who was like family members or like the boyfriend of like the female judge or some shit like that, and the tattooed up defendant gets up there, and they just like, the moment he realized that his lawyer knew the judge, he was just like, oh, bet I'm good. Like, so what's happening there? You're getting some form of favor. Okay, it's everywhere, B. Right now, Diddy was convicted guilty. There's people that's in jail right now serving out their full sentences that got similar shit as him. But he's over here talking about a pardon from Trump. That's because he's Diddy. You see what I'm saying? Like, it could possibly be beneficial if Trump and his administration look at that situation and say, should we flip that switch? They ain't gonna look at little Tom that nobody knows about, though. All them rappers that got pardoned and whatnot. Why did they get pardoned from all the other billions of people that's serving time under the same fucking? I don't got to get into it. I'm just saying the whole world is corrupt, man. And maybe I should shut up, because motherfuckers going to start be like, well, ARP, if that's the case, you ever have any battles thrown that you know about? Hold on. Have I ever heard that shit in battle rap? The most I heard is the rehearsal shit. That's like the worst, the closest to that you hear about. Rehearsing together. But I never heard of somebody throwing a battle. Go figure. I just tried to make a whole point about how it's everywhere where there's money, you could pretty much bring corruption. But battle rap is too small for motherfuckers to even be throwing battles over. They're like, I ain't throwing shit. Give me my $500 back end. That's not a shot. That might be a reality right there. Because I never heard about somebody throwing a battle. Ever. All right, let's move on. What's this one? Oh yeah, we still in the sports segment for a second. So Jake Paul called into Aiden Ross's stream. He's going on the record. Is there footage of Gervonta Davis, and will it come out?
Bro, he pulled up to Tootsie's and beat up a girl, dragged her through the parking lot, and punched her in the face. And it's like, bro.
Okay.
Like,
wait, but how do you know that happened?
It's a lawsuit. Miami-Dade is coming. There's video, like everything, bro. He did this shit in public. Like, you have to understand, this guy was sober, driving to Tootsie's, and it's just like, I'm gonna beat this girl up. Like, he wasn't even drunk. There's on video, and he ruins his own life, his own sport. He sets a bad example for people. Like, I don't know, bro. He pulled up to Tootsie's, and
here's what's crazy. Watch this, chat. Let me show you how I'm gonna catch at least 50% of y'all right now. If the fight was still on, would you want to watch it? Right now, just nothing else happens. Right now, it comes out an announcement. Fight is back on. Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul. Assuming you're also a person that was cool to watch it prior to this shit. That's what I'm saying. If you hold on, stick with that. If you were cool to watch it prior, would you still be cool to watch it right now at this very moment if they said, yo, shit is back on? Okay, I see. No, yeah, he did sound a little crazy on that a little bit, but still allegedly, of course. No, hell no. See, me, I was gonna pay for it. I was gonna pay for it. See, Philly, you don't count with the point that I'm about to make. You're saying you never wanted to see it. All right, so you don't count. I was gonna buy it. I was gonna buy it. All right, how you wasn't interested? All right, I was really looking for people that was maybe it's I get it. Boxing's so fucked up sometimes right now. I can't find anybody that was gonna buy it the same way I was. I'm the only asshole that was gonna waste money on it. Fuck it. Okay, I get it. But the point that I was about to make on some of you motherfuckers, if I caught y'all in the chat, I'm still gonna catch some of y'all. Y'all gonna know, but you're not gonna say it. Is that as of these reports right now in the lawsuit that came out, if the fight was announced, oh, we back on, a lot of people would jump on that pay-per-view or the bootleg or watch it, watch clips, watch highlights. They would still be interested in the outcome. But if this video dropped, that Jake Paul is talking about, everybody would turn opposite direction. Isn't it so crazy how much of a difference maker the visual makes, i.e. Diddy and Cassie? That's why that video got leaked, people. I'm telling you, there's no other reason why that video was put out. No other fucking reason, B. To trump up the case against him, public perception, the court of public opinion. And it was the biggest thing that kept coming up to everybody during the midst of all of this, how shitty of a person that he is. And they had to adjust, and that was what they went after in their opening statement. We understand he's a piece of shit. He did this. He beat Cassie, but that's not what he's on. They remember, even before the trial started, they went heavy at trying to get that even excluded to being brought in. The visual be game changing. If a visual comes out of this shit of Gervonta Davis putting his hands allegedly on this woman like this, not only is this fight when people not supported going forward, and then the sponsors would definitely have to pull out. Jake Paul could definitely, you can't stand across from this shit. You can't. You could try to sell people on, I'm going to exact revenge on people. Bullshit. Revenge or not, he's about to walk out of that ring with like $200 million. So shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, his whole career. Because right now, Tank Davis could still sell somebody a fight. He could go take a fight for with Roach or something. I don't know. Like, there's a bunch of fights people would still pay to watch him for. But if this video comes out, that should be game over for your whole career sometimes, B. Some people, I'll leave it like this. If there's no video, but there's straight heinous accusations, we see people, so like, rest in peace, Kobe. You know, And that girl, she ended up looking crazy during the whole play out of that shit anyway, because of all the other alleged people that she was involved with around the same time and all that type of shit, allegedly. But it would have been different for Kobe. It would have been. It would have been different for Tyson. Yeah, I mean Tyson went still did time, but it would have been different. Um, all these domestics, all these R's, all these child situations. Um, the situation that came out of dude where the guy that shot him, my bad, the rapper's name from Atlanta, rest in peace. The girlfriend allegedly called the brothers or the friends over, and then he ended up losing his life that night, right? And the guy that shot him, he ended up beating it, and it's like self-defense, right? But when that video came out on TMZ showing him hitting on his girl in the bedroom, it just changed everything. It changed the ball game for the public perception and the court of public opinion. Changed everything. But anyway, Tank, if somebody got that footage, you better start spending some money. The same way Diddy tried to, he actually not try, he did. When he went and linked up with them hotel people and dropped his bread on the table and made niggas sign contracts with all type of shit to try to take the footage. Take, if you have any fucking care about the rest of your career and your ability to make big bucks with all these sponsors that are coming around, you know, all this type of shit, you better go figure out if that footage was really out there. All right, Lil Zay Osama I have next. Why? Not only because of the Bezu stuff, and we're gonna pull up that new angle of the Bezu shooting as well. Very unfortunate to see. But going back to Zay Osama. So we know the whole story behind him allegedly when it comes to some of this beef. People keep talking about these damn watches, and he's got videos talking about 2 watches got took and then 5 bodies dropped behind it. I'll let him say it himself. Fuck it.
Zay Osama just dissed the guys who stole his watches, saying 5 people died because of it.
2 watches got stole. About 5 lives got took. Now run and tell that.
Lil Zay Osama just dissed the.
Yeah, saying that shit is crazy, but you know, we know how that whole scene be, right? This ain't nothing new to us. But this guy comes out. THF show they still have Lil Zay Osama's watches that he was saying they stole. Now, showing that, is that because allegedly this is like behind Bezu's passing? You know, like it sounds ignorant as fuck. But Bezu's passing is not something that just gets swept under the rug at a street level. Let's keep it real, people. I know he did those lives talking about 20 for 1, you know, with 051 Melly. But there's a lot of people that you gotta know will move about Bezu. You know, dare I say, allegedly the Little Dirks of the world will, right? Don't start no Slide for Zoo campaign because money goes up. Allegedly, right? A lot of people feel like that was some of the big motivation behind the Vaughn thing. But anyway, this is a post that goes up, and look at the song that's being played on this story. Little Dirk, Aha. And 2 watches. The caption says, "They still around. Quit bapping from Cali and come get your shit back because your homies ain't doing a good job and you ain't did shit since." Inflaming the war. Inflaming the war. All connected indirectly though. Like I said, when it relates to THF Bezu, of course I wasn't going to come up here and play any footage related to him being gunned down. But it's just an angle from the opposite direction of them pulling up on him. And this is some scary looking shit. Damn. So what's that, like 30 yards away? Is that about 20 yards about? Maybe between? It just seems so inescapable. So inescapable. Once again, that's how people die with their guns on them. It don't matter. You just can't beat that type of situation. You just can't. You know, the only thing you could do in a situation like that is have the Lord's blessings. You're not hitting a vital place. they miss the gun jams, stuff like I mean, the Lord got to be with you, B. 100%. This was funny. People, two more quick ones. Actually, one more quick one, and then we out. I thought this was hilarious when I saw it. This is your boy Young Thug, and they almost caught him slatting it up while talking to the homies, right? But remember, he could literally violate his probation terms by saying simple words like slat.
Yeah. I love y'all, man. I just call and check in. Y'all need to hit me in a minute. Man. I love you more. All right. Flat. Yeah. I love y'all, man. I just call and check in. Y'all need to hit me in a minute.
That's crazy.
All right. Flat.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like, no wiping noses, no hanging around gang members. Can you get in trouble for this FaceTime right here? I don't know. No slat, no nothing. I don't even understand the chain medallion, to be honest, because it feels like it's core, but I don't know. I'll leave it alone. I ain't trying to get the man indicted or nothing like that. But it's eggshells for a very, very long time, man. Eggshells. And hey, I'd still want to be free if I was in that situation. So it's better than being behind bars, but eggshells. All right, where we at? Melly's here with a big super, says happy Friday Eve. Chat and ARP. Thank you, Melly, our beautiful member in mod. Thank you, love. I appreciate that. Don Bean came back again and said, didn't miss a 6 a.m. live. Oh, we caught this one, I believe. Once again, the afternoons, it's all good. We up though in the afternoons. We're going to build back everybody that's in 6 a.m. They're going to catch back up and be like, oh, this is where we at now? Okay, cool. We're a very consistent platform. So everything is a brick by brick mentality since y'all met me. Y'all know that. I got it tattooed on me. Brick by brick. Jay says, couldn't they go back and call? Oh yeah, so we addressed that one in regards to that judge being so biased and people going back for their appeals. In this case, Alicia and her defense is filing for a motion to disqualify the judge. Interesting. I don't even know the difference between a motion to disqualify the judge versus a motion. Well, okay, appealing. So if I want to appeal my because they're not going after the sentencing. They're going after the conviction then? No. The jury brings down the conviction. What are you going after, the sentencing? No, you're going after the whole trial then if you're going after the judge, right? It seems like a typical appeal, no? I don't know. Well, maybe later on I'll pull up the difference between a motion to disqualify a judge after sentencing versus just an all-out appeal. Maybe some caveats there. Just wanted to, once again, we caught you with the big super again. I appreciate you, G. Thank you. We here. We got a new member, Sean Robinson. I appreciate you, G. Welcome to the Green Team. All we ask is trust around this mother. Welcome to one of the coolest gangs on the internet. We just don't break any laws, man. We don't break no laws around here, man. We try not to. Okay, we try not to. Jay says paying a battle to not attend an event is paying to throw a battle, in my opinion. I didn't get a chance to type it. LOL. Yeah. So if you ran off, is that a form? If I paid you and you didn't. I do think it's funny that I never heard of that in battle rap before, despite money being able to corrupt just about anything. I literally never heard of that one. I know too much in battle rap. I'm like top 5. If you want to argue me out of the top 5, then put me in a top 10. You can't do no more than that. As far as people in battle rap that knows as much as they know of behind the scenes stuff. From league to league, to owner, to investor, to battlers, to bloggers, to me, I don't know if I'm even put me out of the top 5 is tough. And the only reason I'm saying top 5 humbly is because when you sit in that real strong league owner's chair, and I know there's other league owners that have been around as long as me and some more, they probably know just as much. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely top 5 though. So I never heard it. I never heard of that. And if I have, I forgot. I would tell y'all if I did. I'm not saying I would tell y'all who, but I would tell y'all like, yeah, that should happen in battle rap too. I would say it. All right. Lux the Goat says Tory Doe was approached though. And then you can't copy a threat. That's insane. Yo. You can't copy a threat. But if that was an approach, nah. Yo, there was people that thought that that little brawl, I shouldn't say little, I'm not trying to dumb it enough because it affected people. But the brawl that took place in Drum in one of our main events, there was people that thought that was not, I ain't gonna say requested, but that was, I don't want to find the wrong word for it. But no, but both parties in there, is the homies. So I would never go in that direction. I never felt that. I never got that type of shit. I just seen a lot of people saying that. There were times that felt odd. I blogged about it, so I can say it again now. I was just like, yo, I didn't like that other guy's response towards reacting to people having physical conversations on these stages. And then that booking that happened right after. I mean, you could just be trying to capitalize, but it's just not a good thing to try to capitalize on if we have some type of standards towards this culture of ours. Everybody says the word culture. And if you know battle rap history, you know exactly who I'm talking about. But that still didn't lead me 100% to saying, yeah, niggas was involved in that. I think it looked very spur of the moment. And at the end of the day, it happened at a time where if those things didn't get said, then I do believe that it would have happened, regardless of who was right and wrong in the exchange of words. So, because if nothing gets said, then that moment never happens within the last 10 seconds of the joint anyway, right? So, yeah, I can't believe that was, I think that was just a moment. You know what I mean? Anyway, today makes 5 years since King Von died. Rest in peace to him and condolences to all his friends and family. I don't support the taking of people's lives, so I'm not the moral fan of King Von. I'm a fan of his music, and I try to leave it there. Why is this shit still up here? Why am I still on that? Let me take that shit down. All right, it's 6 o'clock. I'm about to go do me some late night treadmill, get up out of here, and then have a late night dinner. I've been eating late lately, but I've been up a little bit later than my norm, so it's all good. But yeah, tomorrow, I'm so used to saying tomorrow, 6 a.m. I'll see y'all bright and early in the morning, but it's not that. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to catch y'all. All right, we'll be right back. It's your boy, we out.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss, making decisions my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry Street Podcast. Welcome to the house of... And shout out to the members.
Without, I think still got a gun.